coming around. There was a couple of good gun opportunities there. I didn't fire missiles because I didn't trust the P5s to actually get him. I wanted to get into a nice tight position on the 6 o'clock to fire missiles, and that should have been a shot. Hey everybody, Plasma 1945 and the F-5E on Enigma's Cold War server, and it is snowing. It's absolutely beautiful. If you guys have a chance to jump onto the open beta Cold War server, I recommend doing it now because the snow is coming down and it's absolutely gorgeous. What I want to do in this video is to have you watch my airspeed, and that is because I am going to be doing 650 knots on the deck in the F-5. And that is going to help me get killed. Now the reason I'm going to be doing 650 knots on the deck is because my airspeed indicator would fail. And the reason it would fail is because Eagle Dynamics and the team that produced the F-5 have gone into a lot of detail. And as this is one of my very few full fidelity planes that I fly in that are actually full fidelity, I have never experienced this, but now I know better. Now the F-5 has a pitot tube. Now a pitot tube is a very simple, straightforward device which basically sits somewhere in front of the airplane where there is a direct input of oncoming air, and it uses the air pressure to measure the airspeed, or the approximate airspeed as best as it can get of the airplane while it's flying. And so before the advent and proliferation of INS, like on the F-14, and the GPS tracking and all those other features that we take for granted, you would use that pitot tube to get your airspeed. Of course, your airspeed will vary at different altitudes because the higher you go, the less air there is, so the pressure changes. Now what I've done here is I've started off and I was flying right through the snow and through the sleet and through all the other unpleasantry, and I've climbed up into, I think, about 22,000 feet above the snow and the blowing wind. And I'm just chilling here and looking for a target. My airspeed indicator is still working pretty well, and I'm just flying along. It's glorious and it's beautiful, but what I didn't know is that once I'm going to come back down through the atmosphere to try to find a hostile that AWACS is going to report to me, I'm going to fly through a whole bunch of moisture that is properly simulated, and my pitot tube was going to freeze. And if you check my airspeed now, that's the top dial on the left-hand side. It's stuck in the 9 o'clock position. I am definitely not doing 600 knots on the deck here. It froze there while I was diving, and the instrument is now stuck. Now there is a switch in the bottom right-hand portion of the cockpit, kind of above your right knee. There's two switches, one of which is the engine, and the other one is the pitot defrost. So you can actually toggle those on and off, and that will reset your pitot tube and your engines. I haven't had the engines freeze yet, but it will do that. It'll de-ice the engine and de-ice the pitot tube. Now, at this point, I've got a bra call for a hostile coming in low on the deck towards me, and I'm making a sharp turn towards it. I am not paying attention to my airspeed right now. All I know is I want to pick up a bit of speed, but that is the lesson number one. So if you're flying in any sort of adverse conditions, watch your airspeed, because if it is frozen and well, you need those indicators to know how fast you're going, especially if you're performing maneuvers where you are going to be losing airspeed and need to gain it. And so here I'm looking for a hostile, and he is coming off of my 11 o'clock. You'll see him fly right by me. There he goes, and I'm cranking into a turn, keeping eyes on him. That is a mig-15. Going up a little bit higher here and trying to get onto that mig-19. That mig-19 is maneuverable as all hell. He outturned me and he was already coming in. Trying to spot him again. Getting back into him. Don't lose sight. You might win the fight. Well, if I had a bit more experience in this plane, maybe. This is not going to go as well as you guys think, but I'm going to give this MiG-19 a run for its money. Overall, the MiG-19 does turn way better than the F-5, or at least in my experience. That pilot was really good. Knew what he was doing. So there's another merge. He goes right past me again. He's trying to get onto my 6. I'm cranking the best that I can, and I'm still not looking at my instruments. Again, rookie mistake. See, I'm looking down and I'm thinking, what's going on here? Why is my airspeed not going away? Because I'm definitely not flying 600 knots. He's right on my 6, and I don't know how much energy I've got in reserve right now. That's the problem. So I'm just gonna eyeball it here. Force an overshoot. I go vertical, trying to make sure that I've got some authority here on him. There you go, he passes under me. Now I've got a chance here. I'm starting to turn right into him. Throttle's up to the max. I keep looking at my airspeed, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And at this point I realize that my airspeed is broken. So I can just... I'm basically flying by the seat of my pants here. I'm counting on what I'm seeing in front of me. And although the visibility is crap, I'm basically trying to figure out just how fast I can catch up to this guy. There we go, I've got him locked with my radar. Trying to get the guns on him. Passes in front of me. He's trying to force an overshoot here. I'm playing with my throttle, but again, my speed doesn't tell me what where my stall is. Trying to stay in the air here. Head on him the whole time. Coming around. There was a couple of good gun opportunities there. I didn't fire missiles because I didn't trust the P5s to actually get him. I wanted to get into a nice tight position on the 6 o'clock to fire missiles. And that should have been a shot, but I did not fire those missiles. I'm always trying to conserve the Sidewinder because you've only got 2 of them, and for a good shot you need to be pointing at the 6 o'clock of that plane. Now he's passing under me. I'm trying to crank around into him. Again, I don't know how fast I'm going. I think I was going about 200 knots here. He's pulling around on my 6. I just don't have the energy here. I could have extended here, but I haven't flown against the MiG-19 before, so I don't know if he's got the energy to catch up to me. The MiG-19 is a supersonic fighter. It was the upgrade from the 17 and the mig-15 to go supersonic. Not quite Mach 2 like the MiG-21, but it could definitely go supersonic, so I know the f-5 is definitely not quick enough. I try to force an overshoot. I go into the vertical. This is my mistake. There's rounds flying right by me. There goes my wing. I'm like, okay, I can turn and get a shot into him. I don't need a wing. Actually, yeah, I do need a wing. I'm done. There goes the MiG-19, and here comes the ground. So the lesson learned from here was to drop a good fight to a hostile, and also to make sure you defrost your pitot tube and check your instruments before you go into a dogfight. Alright everybody, that's it for me. Plasma 1945 signing off. Happy New Year everybody.